Coach, so obviously great start with the regular season, rolling into postseason. Kind of what are your thoughts exiting the regular season, then entering SEC championships?
Well, I mean, the exciting thing is I think we've got on both sides, men's and women's side. I think we've got quite possibly the two best teams we've ever had. The men were a little bit of a surprise because you just didn't know. You had guys that raced a little bit later in the track season. We didn't know Cooper Cawthor would be running for us at the beginning of the year, and they've just kind of kept getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. On the women's side, we've got some really good firepower. We've got some really good depth. We've got to keep everybody healthy. Hopefully, we're kind of trending in the right direction heading into the postseason. We've been running really well, so I mean, it's a new era in cross country and in college athletics. So things are going to look a little bit different this year at the SEC meet, and I think there's going to be a few schools that may have not been powers in cross country that might step up, and I think we might be one of those.
So talk to me about, obviously the men have grabbed 3 titles in the regular season, the women grabbed 2. Kind of how does that help their confidence going into a meet like this?
Yeah, I think you always want to, you want to race good competition, and you want to be racing competition where you're competing at the front of the meet. And I think we've been in that situation everywhere. Even at Lehigh, when the women finished fourth and the men finished third, we were in the battle. And I think those kind of meets and the depth of the Barrios meet, those kind of meets prepare us for what we're going to see both at the SEC championships, at the regional championships, and hopefully on at the national championships, where you've got to learn to run in some chaos. And I think our kids have done a really nice job of kind of being in the kind of chaotic atmospheres and environments and holding their own.
Let's talk about the men's team first specifically. Obviously, you mentioned Cooper Cawthor has led from the front in all of the races for the men's team, but then you've also got a lot of depth, which I don't think people notice, with the Jack Johnsons of the world. Talk to me about how good it is to have Cooper being a leader of this group, but also having a great bit of depth behind him.
Yeah, honestly, he's been great for the team because he's not only a leader physically, but he's really a great example of how to do things. But yeah, then we finally have Victor healthy in cross country. I mean, he's just every week getting better and better. Nothing he's going to do will surprise me over the next month of the season. Jack Johnson is kind of a guy who's quietly come in and gotten better and better and better, and is a guy that's now a reliable guy, a guy you count on. Yusuf was, I think, second or third at the NAI National Championships last year, transfer in. Same thing as kind of Victor. He's just been getting better and better each week, just trending in the right direction. And then even after that, Carter Gordy has kind of been a little bit unnoticed, has been our 5th guy, I think, every meet this year, and just like become Mr. I called him the other day in training. I go, this Mr. Reliable, this Mr. Reliable. He's gonna, whatever he's gonna be there at the end of the race. And then you throw in Gavin Chappa, who's a freshman, who's kind of figuring things out, didn't race that well at Lehigh, but then kind of bounced back then a little bit better at Barrios. And then Lucas Santorum, who everybody knows from the track, he's a miler. He's a middle distance guy. Cross country is not his thing, but when he races cross country the way he can, which he did at Barrios, then all of a sudden he becomes a guy that's like, he's kind of a X factor kind of guy in there.
And then looking at the women's team, obviously people might know Megan and Deborah because they've each won a race. They've been a higher finish for us. But talk to me about them two kind of leading the way, but then you've also got Joyce. You've also got depth in that women's team.
Yeah, it's a really good front three. I mean, obviously we're missing one of our key factors in Kennedy's out for the season, but we've got with Meg, with Debbie, with Joyce, I mean, they are a really strong front three. And then you got, knocking at that door, Sophia Bendette kind of knocking on the door as our right there to be our number 4, and maybe even at one point she was our number 1 girl at the A&M Invitational, so she's got the potential to be right in that mix as well. Then you got SJ and Stassi, Elise Smoot, who's been kind of not a cross country person in the past, but now is starting to be a real factor in cross country. The 2 other freshmen, Alex Fox, who's been a little up and down with some injuries and stuff, and Ava Cole, who's been really consistent, eventually going to be really, really good. So it's just kind of cool to have a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of different people in there that Maddie Peters, if she can, she's coming off injury in the summer. A lot of people that we talk about not creating a pecking order, and especially on the women's side. Like it's like, hey, nobody's gifted. No, you're not automatic our number one. You're not automatic our number two. We want to mix up. If you're running well, maybe you're our number one today. If you're running well, maybe you're our number four today. Whatever it might be, and I think they've kind of got that vibe now that it's okay. Like, it's okay if I pass. I know she was number 4 last week, but I'm feeling really good. I can pass her, and that's going to help her and help the team out. So I think we've got that situation right now with a bunch of girls in that mix.
So we talk about the team being young and successful, and how important is it to have people, necessarily not even in cross country, but being able to experience conference meets and national meets at track? How can that help them going into a conference meet as talented as the SEC championships?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the people that we've got returnees that have been scorers. I mean, Meg Roberts has scored 3 events last year at the SEC. Twice indoors, once outdoor in the SEC championships. Was a factor at the NCAA first round meet, just missing qualifying for nationals in the national meet. You got Debbie, who had a great NCAA meet last year. And you can see it. You can see as we get to championship time of the season, you can see her coming on. You guys got Cooper Cawthor, who's been a multiple-time SEC scorer, SEC champion in the relay, a guy that's been a national qualifier, a guy that's got a career that's taken off still as a post-collegiate coming up after this all ends. All the Lucas Santorum, like, he's not going to be phased. Even Jack Johnson, not going to be phased by being at a conference meet. Victor Kipyego, not going to be phased. I mean, so if they go into the meet and yeah, it's no longer the older veterans, and hopefully they can do a good job of rubbing off on the youngsters, where it's kind of an attitude of like, hey, listen, just because we haven't seen a lot of these uniforms, this is just the SEC. It's important, and we know it's great competition, but it's just another meet. It's not. This isn't. We're not at the Olympic Games. The SEC championships.
And then finally, for me, we talk about the field, and I feel like in cross country, the SEC's not really been known for being one of those teams, but year by year it keeps getting better, and we've got some real powerhouses now in the SEC. Talk to me just about the overall competition level that you're going to see this week.
Yeah, I think we're seeing kind of the result of the House settlement. We're seeing the result of more scholarship money going into track and cross country programs, and now schools that have traditionally been like, well, we're not going to put much money onto cross country because it's going to hurt us in track and take away from certain. Now they've got more scholarship money, so now you're going to see. I mean, you look at the national rankings, look at the SEC schools. The funny thing is, we look at the national rankings and go, wait a second, I think we're better than that school, and we'll find out this weekend. But that's why you're seeing. I mean, if the SEC, you just know it. If the SEC funds everything, it's going to be great in everything. Because that's the kind of schools they are. That's the kind of athletic departments they are. It's the kind of staffs people are hiring, and so you're starting to see that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it used to be where we got one nationally relevant team and everybody else battling for scraps. Now it's a whole bunch of nationally relevant teams. And you started seeing it a couple years ago, especially on the women's side. We had 6 teams at the national meet on the women's side. I just think we're going to see that to continue to happen.